Hi, I'm Cecilia Schmidt. Welcome back to Busy People Dog Training. I'm going to talk about one of the methods of training a dog to walk nicely on a leash, loose lead walking. This method, it can be combined with the other methods that I describe in other videos. And this method, I call it the jackpot method. And for this method, what you do is you set up a jackpot for the dog. And so what that would be like a toy and a big handful of treats. First, you want to make sure that your dog is restrained, maybe tied, tethered to a piece of furniture or a fence or something. Can you drop? Stay. So we're going to pretend that she's tethered right now. I'm going to set up a jackpot, this wonderful toy and a handful of treats. So I'm going to put this on the floor. And she sees that. Okay, good girl. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk toward the jackpot with her. I'm going to hold the leash about halfway, so she has about 3 feet of leash here. And I'm going to hold the leash against my hip like glue. Like I am not going to move the leash at all. It is up to her to keep the leash slack. We're going to start to walk towards the jackpot. As long as she keeps the leash slack, that is, as long as there is some looseness in the leash, we're going to continue towards the jackpot. If there's any tension, we're going to turn around and go back to the start line, which is right here. So if she maintains a loose lead all the way to the jackpot, then she gets the jackpot. She gets to eat all those treats and play with the toy. If there's any tension, we go back to the start line and we start walking toward the jackpot again. And we do that as many times as it takes until we can walk there to the jackpot with a loose lead the whole way. If there's any tension, we go back to the start line. So we're going to try this. Okay, there was tension. We're going back to the start line. There's a little bit of tension. Going back to the start line. There is a little bit of, even if they're almost there, if there's any tension, you go back to the start line. There is tension right at the beginning there. Good. That was good. So you start out with a pretty short distance. This is probably about 10 feet. And you start out with a short distance of, once your dog is consistently walking that whole distance with some slack in the leash, then you can begin to add distance. Yes! Look at that! What a good girl! What a good girl! Yes, nice job! Yes, good girl! Good girl! Give. Good. Drop. Stay. So we're going to repeat that. Again, I'm going to set the jackpot up here. I'm going to hold the leash about halfway. I'm going to put the leash against my hip so I'm not moving it and causing tension or slack. It's all up to her to keep slack in the leash. And we're going to start. And we're going back to the start line because there was tension. Again, we're going to go back to the start line, and During this process, just completely ignore your dog. You don't have to say anything. You just walk back and forth. Tension, go back to the start line. Yes, good girl. Good girl, Penny. Nice job. Very good. Very good. Yes. Good girl. Good job. So once your dog is doing that well, you can add distance, and then you can also add turns and add obstacles that they have to negotiate with you to get to the jackpot. So I'm going to pause the video here and change the focus so I can demonstrate one of the next steps that you can take with this. So one of the next steps you can take with the jackpot method of training loose lead walking is by adding a turn. And so the way you do that is you can use furniture, use a natural corner that's in your house, and set up the jackpot on one side of the corner. So you and your dog have to walk around a corner to access the jackpot. Hey, sit. Good. Stay. Okay. Good girl. What's that? Is this my water? Good girl. So we're going to start here, and there's this is not much of a turn, but there's a little bit of a turn here, enough to demonstrate. So again, I'm going to have the leash hold it about halfway, fold it up, glue it to my hip. So she is the one who has to maintain the slack. I'm not going to help her by moving my hand in any way. Now we're going to start walking to the jackpot. We have to make this turn here. Yay! And she did it on the first try. That was excellent. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And you can make it more challenging by adding an obstacle. And your dog may be very interested in the obstacle. Sit. Stay. Okay. Good girl. And another thing that you can do, once your dog is consistently maintaining that slack leash, you can shorten the leash a little bit more. So you can hold it about 2/3 of the way down and fold it and hold it against your hip. And so your dog really has to pay attention to where you are and remain even closer to you in order to keep slack in the leash. Okay, she pulled, so we go back to the beginning. There was a little bit of tension, so we're going to go back to the beginning. And again, you completely ignore your dog. Oh, there's some tension. So throughout this exercise, when you're actually practicing it, you don't have to say anything. Yes, good girl. Good girl, nice job. And as you progress with this exercise, you can start to add distractions and make it more challenging. So some ways that you can do that are you can practice in different locations. When you start practicing in a different location, such as your backyard or outside, you always want to make sure that the jackpot is rewarding enough that that is the dog's primary focus. So when practicing outside versus practicing inside, you may have to make the jackpot much more appealing. You may have to use more exciting treats or toys because the dog's main point of focus needs to be that jackpot, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, if you want to look at it like that. You can, so the next, another step that you can take when your dog is doing well is you can start hiding the jackpot. And this should be after the dog is, can you leave it? Thank you. And this should be after the dog is doing turns and maintaining a slack leash with mild distractions or obstacles. Once they're at that point, then try hiding the jackpot. First, make it easy. First, tether your dog and just hide the jackpot around a corner so they don't actually see you put it out. They don't even know it's there. And then walk them to it like they did know. Walk them to it as if they did know it was there. And this helps transfer this exercise into an actual walking situation where you're out walking your dog and the dog, because when you're out on a walk, you're not going to have a jackpot that the dog sees. And so you can start to simulate the walking environment by hiding the jackpot so the dog doesn't know if there is a jackpot, and then surprising the dog when they walk from your designated start line to where the jackpot is, to where that hidden jackpot is on a loose lead. That helps transfer this behavior to the real world, to actually taking your dog on a walk without them dragging you around. So if you have any questions about this or any of my other videos, please don't hesitate to email me. And thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.